everyone. It's me, Andrea Jaeger, your Little Starlight podcast host today on the special themed You Can Count On Peace, Joy, and Connection with your destined synced friendships and community. We will start with Bruno Mars's song, You Can Count on Me, which I have received permission to use because Bruno and his management team understand the meaning of my bringing something of priceless value to your life for all to enjoy, friendship and community, resulting in peace, joy, and connection. Let's lighten our spirit and join Bruno in a celebratory way. Please feel free to sing and dance along. After the video and song play, I will share messages from a few people you may know and inspired people to know. Their heartfelt messages bless lives and awaken the aligned gifts of friendship and community, bringing in peace, joy, and connection.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh,
yeah. Way to go, Bruno. Thanks for setting this set here and calling us to action. This is so exciting. Here we go on a call to action. So keep listening and watching. Often people say what they want, yet they make no plan of action or take an effort to get there. I grew up training as a professional athlete, so my focus, discipline, and attention to important details and methodology to reach success, what I'm called to, and fulfillment are high and useful. Helping children with cancer and children in general with life-threatening diseases and life-altering conditions for the past 39 years, I work in a career field where the value of being counted on and being mindful of important details are critical, even life and death. When I started my Little Starlight podcast, I wrote down a list of guests I wanted to have on, people changing the world for the better. Life wasn't always easy for them. In fact, being pioneers, they encountered all kinds of challenges. I respected what they were about in their heart and actions, how morals and values and service are important to them, and I felt a deep inner connection with their essence. Here is the globally respected for her profound discoveries in neuroanatomy. She developed whole brain living. Here is the one and only Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, a previous guest on my Little Starlight podcast.
They raise that level of love in the world. And to me, that is where we'll find more peace and we'll find more joy and we will truly be connected. And then, yes, we can have leadership by fear, but it's not a real connection. In fact, it's the threat of the absence of connection. It's like, I will love you until you do that, and then you're gone, right? I don't like you anymore. I disconnect from you. I'm going to ghost you. I'm going to say mean things about you or whatever. So if we use the model of humanity as the model, the brain of connection, and we're all neurons, and we're all reaching out, and we're connecting in love, we truly connect. I don't have to be in connection with Andrea to know that she's my friend. And if I ever needed that girl, and I've never met her personally, I've never seen her beyond here, right? It doesn't matter. If I needed her, she would help me. I know that. I know that about her because it's a connection in love and in support. And so her whole network, she's this enormous neuron that she holds with love. And I'm this enormous neuron and I hold my network in love. And I think that the more of us who do that, we're just raising a vibration of what we are as humanity and what we really want humanity to be.
Way to go, Dr. Jill. Thanks for helping us raise the vibration, starting with ourselves. When one does raise a vibration, the landscape can look a bit different. That's okay. Relatable and like-minded friends and community exist for every person. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor has scientific studies and personal experiences to back up her life-transforming messaging, best-selling books, and her TED Talk was the first ever to go viral. Watching Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor's Complete Little Starlight podcast episode, you actually learn more about your own story. Discovering more about one's inner self, the outer life, can start syncing up for matches. Messages from people who have played their part in history include Abraham Lincoln in 1849 shared, "The better part of one's life consists of friendships." How about that one more time? Abraham Lincoln, president from Illinois. I'm from Illinois as well. I actually, as a kid, one of our field trips was to go to his house. And so we got to go there and learn all about his history. And so I'm a big Abraham Lincoln fan. Anyway, so in 1849, I'm going to share that one more time. The better part of one's life consists of friendships. And you think about that. I mean, his era too, and his season of life, there was so much going on in government and changes in politics and equality. I mean, there was a lot happening in the United States of America. And for his quote to be about friendships, I mean, he knows the significance of that as well. So here we go with Jane Austen, a different history lesson here. Author of Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, and Northanger Abbey. She has this timeless quote: "There is nothing I would not do for those who are really my friends. I have no notion of loving people by halves. It is not my nature." Marlene Dietrich, also in spirit, chimes in with, "It's the friends you can call up at 4 a.m. that matter." She also is known for saying, and she said that before cell phones were available. Okay, so she has another great saying too. She is also known for saying, "Love for the joy of loving and not for the offering of someone's heart." For any of those who may know of Mr. Roger from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and if not, then here's something you can take anyway. So there's obviously there's kids and teens and that are like, "Oh, who's Mr. Rogers? I have him for like a science teacher or my doctor or something." But this is a different Mr. Rogers. So Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, in sharing kindness, a favorite of his that still lives on in eternally. Mutual caring relationships require kindness and patience, tolerance, optimism, joy in the other's achievements, confidence in oneself, and the ability to give without undue thought of gain. That's cool. What is your call to action of what you want in a friend and community and in yourself? Even though we are all of one, for me, only for me, it's unrealistic. Every person will be my friend and every community my home. And maybe I'm just not evolving to that place where, oh yeah, we're all just like one happy family. So okay, I try. I try to be loving and giving and honoring of everyone, but sometimes when people are just harming others, it irks me a little bit. All right, so back to this episode. Even though we're all of one for me, it's unrealistic. Every person will be my friend and every community my home. It is realistic. Each person can have friends and a community matching a person's highest self. So that possibility, that ability, that opportunity, that blessing, that gift, that is there. That each person can have friends and a community matching a person's highest self. I can make a lot of podcasts just on blooper reels of my attempts with friendships and community. That is definitely going to happen one day. And there's a lot of stories for sure. A previous Little Starlight podcast guest explained standing up for others and yourself can be an ingrained trait and also learned anytime in life. Mine definitely an ingrained trait. What's yours? When was the last time you felt enough is enough and brought in a pattern interrupt so a person, people, or community had to deal with a pattern interrupt to stop their harmful behavior? Can you count on you and others to be there in those situations as well? So it's not, it's about you want the peace and the joy and the connections, but there's also times where sometimes you're called to go beyond your boundaries and whether it's for yourself, whether it's for something. I mean, in the situations that I've dealt with in the last 39 years, a lot of times I encounter these kids who their life just gets shut. The door gets shut on everything, and they're not allowed to do anything. Their childhood has been reared inefficient for what they're allowed to be and of in terms of the childhood, the grace and the beauty of the innocence of exploring and discovering and laughing. And there's scientific studies that kids laugh umpteen amounts more than adults, and they can find a joy. And you look at the news these days, and there's a lot of different stories that are happening now. There's a lot of bullying and hardship, and a lot of emotional depression, things that are happening that a- are different than when I had grown up. When I had grown up, most parents, all the parents I knew, they just told their kids to go outside and play. And that's all we did. We went outside and played. There was none of the social media, none of the cell phones, none of those things that are as beneficial as tech is. It can distance a person from nature and their inner self. And so it can help complement it, because obviously I'm reaching you through a mechanism that is from technology, and I'm grateful for that. But I really want to emphasize that in my life, and there's other people's as well, it's sometimes standing up for yourself or standing up for others in a safe manner. I mean, certainly you want to do things in a safe manner, but it may not always go the way you want, but you may still be called to do it. There was a time I jumped in a fire roaring on things that no longer even bothered me, but I could help others in their pain and sufferings by speaking up. And so I did. My passionate work on its 39th year now is about helping children who have unimaginable life-threatening diseases and life-altering conditions. I didn't grow up like them, yet know I am called and to be of service. What do you feel called to do? Are you living it? For whatever reason, before I could walk and talk, I had an awareness and knowingness of things beyond the physical world. Combine that with my dedicated and beloved tennis training, I became a keen observer of signs and wonders, adeptly following their lead. That has its advantages. I'm still always learning and evolving each day. Sometimes whoosh, really quick, and sometimes really slow. Certainly, I'm a glass half full person, all full even, but I still have my own confusions as to why there are many communities and cultures yet to have interest in heightened morals and values. It probably is interesting that I'm recording this and it's airing during spring break. And when I go in the morning, if I do a run or a walk or a meditation or a connection to nature, the morning at the ocean and the beach, lately I've been having to take several garbage bags because for whatever reason, people feel like they can leave their garbage on the beach, and for the turtles and the dolphins and the whales and the other sea life and the water itself and the oceans itself to get harmed by that. And I don't know, for me, that's just confusion. It's a basic common sense, make a place better than when you entered. And certainly if it's your own garbage, you take it and you put it in the garbage. And so so I think I'm really going after that one today because of the season here. But I think that's me in general. So think back to when you became first introduced to a person you became best friends with. Unusual situations, including what could be at first perceived as an unfortunate incident, can actually become a lifelong blessing. One of my best friends I first met when I wiped out on a scooter avoiding a sunbather. Actually, a true story. Long and pretty funny story on that one for sure. That time, another person stepped in to assist on the wipeout. All was good, even blessed. Words can never define the adventures we were meant to discover and participate thereafter together. We have helped children with cancer from around the world over multiple decades, bringing fun, nearly 40 decades, bringing all from my wipeout scooter avoiding a sunbather. I seriously, this is a story I'll have to do a whole other episode on. But anyway, for over 4 decades, we've been bringing fun, laughter, and care, and it started from a wipeout. Our priceless friendship, a remarkable God-gifted result of our initial divine orchestrated encounter. Another time, nearly a decade ago, when I thought I was alone practicing my tennis skills on a wall. Yes, this was the time. A lot of the Legends tournaments, the Grand Slam Legends tournaments, they had asked me to participate for about 20 years straight. And I always said no. It just, I was very busy running my Children's Cancer Foundation. I had situations where I had lived that life and was full circled on it. So I was very happy doing what I was doing. And it was just one of those things. So I said no every time for like 20 years. And then all of a sudden, one of the kids, and it continually happened that several of the kids were like, "Oh, do you still play?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I play with you." And they're like, "No, I mean like real play." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so I thought it would be fun. I could run programs at some of these Grand Slam tournaments and play in the legends, and I'd help the kids. I get my expenses covered, which is awesome. I could donate my prize money, which is awesome. So that started happening. Well, that's a different level of practice that you have to do. So at night after work, and I would just start doing a lot more practice. So this one time I actually was at a wall practicing my tennis skills. And that's when a celestial wind brought in a special friendship. That person and I, we have gone to the four corners, laughing, learning, and bringing joy to wheelchair, orphan, and in need kids around the world whose light went dim. So something like that, where I had left an industry, so this might happen with you. It's like maybe you've closed the door on something, and maybe there's a season that you open it again, and that's what I did. Went to a wall, started hitting on the thing, and there came this another divinely orchestrated friendship that benefited others, and we still laugh. I mean, we'll do another podcast individually on this person, but you see her on a lot of our podcasts. But okay, so here we go. I could fill dozens of podcasts of hilarious, uncanny, and enlightened ways friendships have been formed. As the Hallmark Channel has Christmas in July, I knew I was guided to bring in for audiences this year magic in June. We're not quite there yet, but look out, it's coming. How does one even do that? For me, magic is a daily acceptance. Miracles as well. They are timeless, have unlimited, abundant ability and resources, and when connected to properly, importance of properly, they are gifted by God and the universe. So it is natural when spirit conversations percolate and brew, created by God and the universe, nurtured amongst guides, goodwill, nature, animals, and a host of others in spirit, the extraordinary will occur. In this particular alignment, a joining together to light a grounded in gratitude path to community and friendship, embedded with ancestral history, sacred, the authentic and priceless happened. More on that incredible, fascinating story and several others in each future episode. We're taking a little path down some different things here that are very because when you have communion and when you have connection and I anyway, I'll just keep going because this could be like a 4-hour episode. And I realize people have busy lives. You have things to go do. All right, so here we go. A simple way to start your own journey to the remarkable, I share with you another previous Little Star Light podcast guest, Dr. David Agus, a pioneer in wellness and medicine. Dr. Agus' vast array of better quality of life work includes the important understanding we all need, this is his quote, this is his exact quote, we all need to figure out what's right for us because nothing about life is one size fits all. And such discovery starts with you paying attention to yourself. Seems simple, and it can be. Michael Singer, author of The Untethered Soul and The Surrender Experiment, yes, also a recent Little Starlight podcast guest, eloquently lives one of his quotes. Your relationship with God is the same as your relationship with the sun. If you hid from the sun for years and then chose to come out of your darkness, the sun would still be shining as if you never left. You don't need to apologize. You just pick your head up and look at the sun. It's the same way when you decide to turn toward God. You just do it. So let's do it. I'm extremely grateful. I felt God and my friendship and community the moment I was born. Same for with nature, animals, and the spirit realms. Gifts we could all achieve with inner work at any season of life. It's probably why my standard of friends and community can appear to be almost unattainable. The bar of which I measure starts with my friendship and community with God and includes my relationships with nature, animals, and the spirit realms. That's a high bar. Let me tell you, it's a high bar. They enjoy higher vibrations, frequencies, and awareness, what can be considered standard for best communication and an understanding of each other. They also hear and feel every hello, however the vibration. So how about writing down 8 things you want in a friend and community? Your countdown list, like Bruno Mars talked about in Count It, I could just start singing away. I love that song. It's so cool. So as you finish writing your countdown list, read it out loud and ask yourself, am I any of these things? Make sure you reflect what you want in your own life, embody them, have a call to action plan for them to be received and to be. You may find what you actually have been searching for isn't what you wanted at all. And what you did want was right there all along, waiting to be recognized. That would be so, how fun is this, right? Letting go, nurturing, cultivating, and embodying questions to ask yourself when you create your list, and then watch and experience the blessings and magic unfold. If you have no idea what to put on your list, and that can happen because it's like, where do I even start? All Little Star Light podcasts with previous guests are available for free. On each episode, the guest and us hosts, myself, Karen Vasquez, and Adriana Solarova, we are all passionate in caring for others and sharing what has been successful and navigating our own highest and best life. The roller coaster parts too, because life has roller coaster. If you ever feel like, oh, mine are just too big to get over, let me share a little. There's someone that will have yours equal. There will be people that will have less, and some that will have more. But you'll find your community. You definitely will. It's there. Okay, so you can find previous and upcoming episodes announcements at www.littlestar.org. You can download episodes, and announcements are easily found on the website, which is www.littlestar.org. And it's on the website homepage. You just see there's a button that says announcements, and you can click on it and see all the announcements on each episode. And you'll find it. And then also on our YouTube channel, because all the episodes stay there and they're free. Next Little Starlight episode, the full team is back in action. Adriana Solarova and Karen Vasquez join me welcoming an incredible individual you will all want to meet. What our next guest does in his career calling and what he saves is bigger than any scale can even weigh. Wow. That's so exciting. In closing this Little Starlight episode, here is an inspiring poem by Alice Walker. Yes, you guessed it. Also a Little Starlight podcast previous guest. Alice Walker is the author of Color Purple, amongst other great pioneering, inspired works. Friendship and community is all over this, her poem. Okay. The standing up for yourself and others prominent too. Alice wrote this poem in celebration of one of her dearest friends. I came across the meaningful poem only in recent weeks, even though it was written in 2010 for her inspiring friend's back then 75th birthday. The words resonated with me in many ways, and the poem percolated in her before that. But sometimes it does take reading someone else's words to find yourself. Sometimes it takes hearing. Sometimes it takes seeing. But you also have that for others. So your words and your actions and your things that, I mean, I seriously, I want to be a person that when someone sees me, they're like, you know what? I can stand up for others too. I can participate in doing pattern interrupts, because when I encounter something in life that I feel like, wow, that person could have been better, it's, this is myself included, I really want to do something about it. Then, like if I'm walking on the beach and there's garbage, I don't expect the next person to pick it up. I expect the person before me that did it to take care of it themselves. But the fact is, if I see it, I feel like I saw it, so I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to take that action. And so I want to be the kind of person that inspires someone else to do the same too, because if we all just walk by things that could be better, what does that mean? What does that mean about us? What does that mean about humanity? What does that mean about society? So each person has their own direction, their own vibrancy. And so another person might be someone extremely different. They might be the person that recycles when it comes in. So they don't have to worry about picking up because they know that it'll get recycled because they're in charge of that. So there's all kinds of creative called in ways that we together can do what life is supposed to be. And so I'm sharing these hoping they will help. I mean, I have gotten great responses and people do like them. So I keep sharing. So here is this poem. In many ways, the words also spoke to me about a person I know who embodies the same special qualities in the poem. Therefore, I sent it as a thank you. That's the other thing about me. It's like, oh, look here. I love doing that. I love sharing. Sharing to me is like, oh, if I have something, of course, share it. You may be of or know people that reflect the same qualities and want to do the same. Share the poem and this episode as a thank you to them, or a hello, a wake up, or a way to go. And this might be for yourself or for anyone. It might be for today. It might be 20 years from now. You might say, oh, now I get that poem, or now I get why she was laughing and trying to like her effort. That's okay too. The poem is titled She, and the poem in this Little Starlight episode is meant for all. We are capable of, and we all have the ability to receive and be of divine appointed and synced friendships and community. There are synced up friendships and a community destined for each of us to count on. Excited for you on yours and honored to spend this special experience with you. Now, here's the poem. Okay. If someone's watching this, like if you're listening to this, there's a whole lot of animation going on. There's a whole lot of stuff happening. Okay. So She by Alice Walker. She is the one who will notice that the first snapdragon of spring is in bloom. She is the one who will tell the most funny and complicated joke. She is the one who will surprise you by knowing the difference between turnips and collard greens, and between biscuits and scones. She is the one who knows where to take you for dancing, or where the food and the restaurant's decor are not to be missed. She is the one who is saintly. She is the one who reserves the right to dress like a, and for kids, hold your ears on this one, like a slut. She is the one who takes you shopping. She is the one who knows where the best clothes are bought cheap. She is the one who warms your home with her fragrance, the one who brings music, magic, and joy. She is the one speaking the truth from her heart. She is the one at the bedside wedding, funerals, or divorce of all the best people you dearly love. She is the one with courage. She is the one who speaks her bright mind. She is the one who encourages young and old to do the same. She is the one on the picket line, at the barricade, at the prison, in jail. She is the one who is there. Okay, so for kids, the reason that the in jail thing is sometimes society hasn't caught up with a person's what they perceive as honorable actions to help the vulnerable or the sick or the deprived or the innocent. And so sometimes society uh, takes those people and doesn't like their shouting or their exuberance and saying, wait a minute, that's unfair, that's injustice, that's harm. And so they lock them away, they put them away. And in the olden days, they did worse things, but and they just put them away because society hasn't caught up yet to go, oh, we weren't supposed to do that. And that person figured it out. Okay, so just want to let you know that. She is the one. She is the one who is there. If they come for me and I am at her house, I know she will hide me. If I tell her where I have hidden my heart, she will keep my secret safe. She is the one who, without hesitation, comes to my aid and my defense. She is the one who believes my side of the story first. She is the one whose heart is open. She is the one who loves. She is the one who makes activism the most compelling because she is the one who is irresistible, her own self. She is our sister, our teacher, our friend, Gloria Steinem. That's who Alice was talking about in her poem. Born 75 years ago, glorious, to your parents and still radiant today. Happy birthday, beloved. The grand feast of your noble spirit has been and is the cake that nourishes us. We thank you for your beauty and your being. Namaste. By Alice Walker. Wow. Wow. Yeah, dear friend. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this is it's empowering. It's a lot of extraordinary in this Little Starlight podcast episode, and much more to come, including magic in June and far more. Thank you again for joining. And remember, there are divine synced up friendships and a community destined for each of us to count on. And remember, you can find Little Starlight Podcast at Spotify, YouTube, where podcasts are found. Even for me, a tech person, I'm like, oh, look, I found this. I hit the right button. So, and you can also find them, like I mentioned before, at Little Star Foundation's website, the welcome page and announcements section at www.littlestar.org. Thank you, and light and love.